right, you guys, welcome to Candace Speaks Power. Welcome, welcome. We're going to talk about Will Smith again, but we're going to talk about it in a different sense. Will shocked the world with his infamous slap of Chris Rock. We were shocked. Why were we so shocked? Because it was Will Smith. We hold him in such high regard, and he deserves it. He does. I'm so glad. I'm glad that everything's kind of settling now, and we can all rationalize this more, including myself. He is such an upstanding guy. He's done so much. He seems like he has such a warm heart, and he's highly respected amongst his peers, family, friends, his audience. That's why it was so shocking. Like, the person we saw walk on that stage, it didn't look like the person that we've all come to love. It just didn't. And it was like just a few seconds of his life. We can't let that change everything that we ever thought about Will Smith. We cannot, because he is human. He's way more than an actor. Acting is his job, and he's amazing at it. But he's also very much a person. And he's known around the world and loved around the world. Can you imagine that kind of power? Can you imagine that kind of power? To just be this one individual, but an entire world can hurt behind you, or get angry behind you, or even love behind you. One person, that's Will Smith. And it showed up on Oscar night. Yes, his actions disappointed everybody. But what brought that on? What made that happen to our beloved Will Smith? How did that happen? People say he snapped. But why? But why? He's Will Smith. He's amazing. He's Will Smith. He's human. So, the problem is with all of our celebrities that we see on TV and in movies, and that we adore, we love what they do. They make us feel good. They make us happy. We run to them for entertainment, for our enjoyment, and they bring it to us, and we love them. But we forget that acting is their job. We don't know what's going on in their spirit. And I really say that's what's happening with Will Smith right now. This is going to be deep, y'all. So let me just say, any of my Christians, my God-loving people, you should really understand what's going on. But if you're not, I want you to just listen. Just listen and think about your own spirit sometimes, and maybe sometimes how you would do something totally out of character that is not you, and it's not you. Okay? When I talk about people and their jobs and their celebrities and we love them, they make us feel happy. Look at some of the people we've lost. We've lost to drugs. We've lost to them just not wanting to be here anymore. Anthony Bourdain. You would have never thought. Whitney Houston. Robin Williams. Prince. Michael Jackson. What kind of pain were they in, you guys? That some were just taking so many drugs that they were masking their pain, or just wanting to sleep their days away, or just not wanting to be here anymore. But to us, they were entertaining us. We didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. All we know is We knew they kept us happy. They filled our soul. They fulfilled something we didn't have. But what about them, the human? What about them? I definitely would never want to see Will Smith's name added to that list because we didn't know the turmoil that man was in. I thank God maybe that he actually did this because maybe it was a cry for help. Because there's something going on in his spirit. I think his friend, Denzel Washington, probably kind of says it best. I just want to play a little clip for you. Let me come back first. Okay, wait. If y'all watch this, you know I'm kind of slow with this computer because I'm still working out the kinks on how to share stuff. But we're going to get it because I want you to see this. And then we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so let me just go back so I can play this for you. And then we're going to talk about this, you guys.
It's safe to say everybody has an opinion about what Will Smith did a week ago at the Oscars. The consensus seems to be it was wrong on a number of levels. The man who went to speak to Smith during the show just after the slap agrees Smith was wrong. But Denzel Washington immediately chose to look beyond what Smith did and focus on why he did it.
Who are we to condemn?
This morning, in a Good Morning America exclusive, we are hearing from Denzel Washington, one of the first people to speak to Will Smith just minutes after that now infamous slap at the Oscars.
When the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right. And for whatever reason, the devil got a hold of that circumstance.
Speaking to Bishop T.D. Jakes at his International Leadership Summit Saturday, 11,000 people in attendance, the Oscar winner revealing how he leaned on his faith when he and Tyler went to speak to Smith.
I don't know all the ins and outs of this situation, but I know the only solution was prayer. I don't want to say what we talked about, but there but for the grace of God, go any of us.
Bishop Jakes telling ABC News what Smith did was wrong, but what Washington and Perry did just after was necessary.
I think that they sensed that there was trauma involved and that there was pain involved. And sometimes pain parades itself as anger.
Absolutely.
The conversation of faith so impactful, minutes later, Smith mentioned it as he accepted the Oscar for Best Actor.
Thank you, D. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.
Yep.
The speech followed by a standing ovation, and then a week of controversy, which included Smith resigning from the Academy, a public apology to Rock, and how the Academy handled or mishandled the incident. All of it fallout from this, the moment that...
Okay, so I don't want to see this slap again. I just think that was so egregious. And although we are here to pretty much show Will some grace right now, I'm not going to show this slap again. I just can't stand it. Let me tell you why I can't stand it. And probably by the entire world, before we go back to the whole Denzel stuff and what we just watched. I don't think people really totally get the full impact of that slap that the entire world was able to see. All the arguing and stuff back and forth, do you know that comes from pain? People have been triggered. Do you know how many people that could have affected? God, when I think about it, people suffering from PTSD, from any kind of trauma, any kind of abuse, any kind of violence, any kind of bullying, and never having any kind of repercussions from it. How many people dealt with these kind of situations and didn't get help? Or maybe help came later, maybe a year later, maybe the next day, but it didn't help right that moment, but people knew about it. It's Very similar to what happened at the Oscars. It's traumatic if you've gone through any kind of violence or anything like that. And then watch somebody assault somebody on live national TV and no intervention at all. That can set people back. It can definitely trigger people. And I think we saw a lot of that triggering. Even just the idea of it happening. It's never happened to me, but the idea of somebody being able to walk up to me and slap me that hard and turn around and walk away and smile about it. Sit down, cuss me out again, and still be allowed to stay there after I was assaulted by this person. Ooh, the Oscars. So many violations. Everybody keeps blaming Will, but this impact is way beyond Will. I'm gonna tell you that now, because everybody who has any kind of sense of responsibility at the Oscars are just as guilty as Will Smith. You might as well have participated because you did nothing. You did nothing for Chris. As he sat there, he stood there and still worked for you. Isn't that something? That man stood there and still worked for you. You did nothing for him. You didn't ask Will to leave. And even if you said you did, you let him stay. Who lets a criminal stay? He refused to leave. Are you crazy? Don't do that. Y'all wrong. I hope Chris sues you guys. I hope he gets something out of this from the Academy Awards or the Oscars or whatever. Them who did not choose to protect him. What if Will had gone off again and ran up on that stage again? It would have definitely been your fault. You did nothing. This is not all just about Will. It really isn't. Okay. And I get passionate, y'all. Just excuse me. I do get passionate. They did nothing to protect Chris. Will was allowed to stay there. He was allowed to be verbally assaulted, basically. And then allowed to go up on the stage and receive his Oscar, give a speech, and got a standing ovation. All y'all in the audience are also guilty. Now, I'm going to say this. You guys might have been in shock. Like, what do you do? What do we do? What do we do? Okay, we're just going to pretend that never happened because that's what happened. Oh, my God. Can you imagine the people in this world who have been violated and people just keep walking knowing they just saw what they saw? There was a huge trigger that happened. This is way bigger than just, oh, he got slapped. It happened on national TV. Okay, but with that being said, when we listen to Denzel Washington, and me being spiritual, when you listen to Will Smith's speech, I'm not going to play it, but I will say a few things, some things that I dissected out of it. What Will Smith did talk about was God. See, at first he didn't have my attention until he mentioned God. And then I started seeing things differently. When he said that God called on him, God called on him to love people, protect, be a river. That's a flowing river of love to quench thirst. That's what God does. He quenches our thirst, that you'll never be thirsty again. That he wanted to be a vessel for love. Do you know a vessel for love is a vessel for God? When I heard him speak of God, I had to give him grace because then I understood. And then even more so, I understood what Denzel was saying to him. Remember when Denzel said something to him, he said, at your highest moment, the devil come after you. Let me see how the devil steps in. He said, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you. At your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you. Evil, y'all. Darkness. There is light and darkness. There is. Light with God, dark with evil. There's a lot of evil going on in this world. A lot of evil. People doing stuff you would never expect because evil drops in. See, what evil looks for is your weakness. He comes after those who love God, especially if God has a plan for you. If God has a plan for you to really be his vessel. And so when Will talks about being a vessel, can you imagine him being a vessel for God and spreading love around the world, harmony, peace, being a giver, uplifting people, what he would bring to this world, what God has prepared him for? That's why the devil was angry. That's why darkness stepped in. He wanted to strip Will of everything good. And he wanted to disrupt this world because of one person, a human being that we all look up to so highly. But that's why he used him. Because he's such a powerful human being who chose God. See, I want to say we all walked in this world for a long time before we choose God. Because we're learning. You don't get it. But so I pray one day everybody gets it. Love, love, love. He walked in this world, living one life, and then one day chose God and started receiving what God wants for him. I say a lot of his tears came because of shock himself. I think he was totally shocked what he just done. I bet he was in some kind of internal turmoil trying to figure out, what in the world did I just do? How did that happen? I'm supposed to be working with God. I'm God's vessel. God wants this for me. He wants me to be a provider and protector. He wants me to be a vessel of love in this world. And what did I just do? What you did was start giving your life to God. And the more you start giving your life to God, the more active evil starts to show up in your life. Denzel said something like that as well. What did he say? He said, when the devil ignores you, you know you're doing something wrong. You hear that? When the devil ignores you, you know you're doing something wrong. You know what that means? He said he's happy with you because you're playing in his playground. You on his side. If you was playing double dutch, you jumped onto his side, and he's happy with the way you living for him. That's when he's ignoring you. But honey, when the devil shows up, you're doing something right. Now, and what he does is he shows up at your weakest point. Because mind you, when you become a worshiper of God and you let his Holy Spirit just dwell inside your soul and you start walking with God, evil immediately starts looking for your weakness. And we all have them. It's something we have to work on to strengthen. And he always starts finding that loophole. It's like find a loophole for your IRS taxes. He finds that loophole. Okay. Jada must have been his loophole. Wouldn't you say he might be a little weak when it comes to Jada? And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying it in a very real way. That man loves her. He said he would do anything for her. He'll never leave her. He said he will always have her back. That man loves her. That's his weakness. See, some people have weaknesses like drugs and alcohol and sex or whatever. I think his is Jada. And I think he has this thing where he wants to prove to her that he is her protector and that he does love her and that she doesn't need to go anywhere else or look anywhere else. He's all she needs. And that was his weakness. And then the other thing, I think he probably had like what you would call an outer body experience. Now, let me just say this. Y'all don't be trying to act like y'all don't know what this is like. You might not, but think about any time maybe you drank too much and somebody had to tell you what your night was like because you don't remember. Just a few shots of tequila can help you, will do that to you. Because I'm going to tell you, alcohol and drugs, overuse of anything, will open up the gate of darkness and have you doing stuff that is not of you. And then you trying to forget it or forgive or whatever afterwards. You're so embarrassed. That's that out of body kind of experience because something else is taking over. That's what happened to Will. He had an experience where if his journey with God was a little stronger, probably, if his walk with God was a little stronger, he could have sent it away. He would have figured out a different way. He would have handled that a different way. He would have known, that's not who I am. I would never do nothing like that. And he wouldn't do it. And I'm not saying that's easy, especially when you're vulnerable. And it just shows also that he still is at a point of working and knowing God and allowing God to be the leader of his life, allowing love to be the leader of his life, rationale, what makes sense, to be the leader of his life. And he did not do that. And the devil laughing. He laughing and dancing and I got him. It's only for a minute. See, this is the beauty about things. You can make mistakes because we're not meant to be perfect. It was a big mistake, but just like it's calming down right now, it will go away. It will. Every day you wake up, it's a new day to be better. Isn't that a blessing? Oh my God. You don't have to live in your chaos. You don't have to carry it with you. And you definitely do not have to let it define you. Isn't that beautiful? Will is still the great guy that we thought he was. I believe so. Those tears say a lot. What he was saying about God is real. And to have a friend like Denzel, who is a godly man, and what Denzel did for him and Tyler Perry was pray for him. See, he has some real friends. Oh, when you have friends that love God, because that is your surrounding, they come there to lift you up and strengthen you. And they're gonna get him through this process. And Chris, as much as I hate that you had to be a part of it, but it was meant, it's written. And there's a reason you're silent. There's something beautiful about your soul, Chris. You might be going through something yourself. I don't know. But all this is meant to happen. And we can give Will grace. And this is what I'm going to say, because I mentioned our other loved ones, people that we love that are celebrities that passed, and that we don't want to see that with Will. When God closes a door, you need to be jumping for joy and be happy. Because it's done for a reason. He has plans for you. And and I'm talking about Will Smith. God has plans for Will Smith. And he needs Will Smith to focus on him. And sometimes he has to quiet the noise. He has to make something real bad happen so you'll come back and lean on him. Because maybe you're trying to do it all by yourself. This is real, y'all. It's real. It's in my book. I'm being published right now. You're going to be calling me author in a minute. And I'm serious. I'm not even playing. Because I know I've experienced it. I know what it's like. I might not be some huge celebrity, but I am Candace, honey. For real. I know who I am. I know where I've been, and I know where I am right now. And I know the future that the Lord has for me. Do I know exactly what's going to happen? No. But I know I walk with him now. So I get it. The book's called It's Time, by the way. And it's in publishing, and it should be out in June. And it's really about your spirit and changing and be the best person you can be so you can walk in peace. I think Will has a lot of pain. And he's looking for peace. And that's probably what sent him to God. And then that's probably where his friends of also the spirit, God's loving spirit, comes to him to keep him lifted and to help him walk and get to know God better. And when God starts speaking to your soul and you start listening, all kinds of stuff will start coming your way. But when you learn how not to listen to the mess that's coming your way, and I hope this is what they're telling him, you need to be applauding that all this stuff is happening because God has closed the door that you wasn't going to close yourself because he needs you to work with him right this minute. When he wants that door to open again, he'll open it for you. it'll be better. Whatever's going to be happening from here this day forward, as long as you're still walking in the love that you said and being a vessel for the love of God, you're going to be fine, Will. He's going to be fine. Oh, my God. And he's probably going to do some amazing, phenomenal stuff for the world, like world peace kind of stuff, because he's somebody that people will listen to. And this will be a testimony for him. It'll be a testimony. So I'm kind of excited for him. I show you grace like Chris Rock showed you grace, but even more so like God is showing you grace. Because it's happened, Will, deal with your heart. This is my message to Will Smith, y'all. But just listen, because it can work for you too. Because this is something that when you decide to go from one side, the darkness, to the other, the light. And this is one thing Will said too. He wanted to let his light shine. That's all God. That's all in the Bible. That's spirit-filled stuff. When you choose to go to the light, everything from darkness is trying to get you back. It's trying to get you back. But when you realize how good that light feels, the warmth of it all, the peace, that joy that is unwavering. Nobody can take it away from you because it comes from the inside out. The Holy Spirit. Lord have mercy. You don't even want to go backwards. And even if you fall, because he fell, what you do is you get back up and you lean that much harder. And I believe he has good friends between Denzel and TD Jakes and Tyler Perry and whoever else is spirit-filled around him to hold him up and hopefully make him understand, if he doesn't already understand, that this was meant. You're doing the right thing because you chose God. Put him, make sure he's in his word and tell him this is the time for silence. So what if you have to resign? So that doesn't define you, Will. It doesn't define the person that Will Smith is or what God has for him. God gave Will a gift of being an amazing actor. And when God says open up the floodgates and decides that it's time for him to go back, he can go back. Watch. Because you can't shut God out. Whatever door God opens will stay open. But what if that's not what he has for him now? Maybe he's going to be a speaker. Maybe he's going to be the uplifter for this world that we need with all the turmoil that we're in, the things that we're seeing. We're seeing all these school shootings, these young kids shooting each other up, people going to school, shooting up whole schools, and they're shooting up themselves. Does any of this stuff seem normal to you? It's not. Dark light, dark light. For real, dark light. Russia and the Ukraine, we're living the pandemic. We're living through this, y'all. Dark light, dark light. The book is called It's Time. You know what it's time means? It's time for you to figure out what side you want to be on. And it's time for you to decide to live from the inside out. Don't let these things, material things, define you because they just go away. They'll just go away. They can be snatched from you, but they can't snatch God out your soul. And it's such a good feeling to just know that you just feel good and that you're putting out such good energy. Even when you don't feel good, if you're giving or you're putting out good energy to others, it just usurps everything else. Then all of a sudden you feel better. So that's really what I have to say today, because I was on Sherelle's World. Oh, I love them. Sherelle's World. Shout out to Sherelle's World. I love her. She's a content creator and I love her show. And I was on her show. And this is the thing, though, when you're talking about something that is so passionate to you, it might have came off kind of angry. Because you be all passionate. And then the thing is, you don't know how the people feel about what you're saying. But it's like, I'm going to say it, though. Because I love God. And I will not talk about God. So what I want to say, if you saw me on Sherelle's World, it says, I really am not angry. I'm actually very excited for Will. I pray for his soul. I pray that he understands what's happening. The people around him are continue to support him and tell him, let that noise be quiet. Don't hold on to the things and the titles, because none of that stuff defines you. Those are jobs. What defines you is who you are from the inside out. And you can change, because change is a choice. And if you want to have peace and love and joy and hope and happiness in your life, it's up to you to make that change. You start with your mindset. Your mind is your playground, and you decide who gets to play in it. Open that gate, close that gate. Let them in, kick them out. You get rid of negative thoughts, negative energy, and be positive on purpose. Be positive on purpose. People will be much happier if they stop comparing themselves to others and wanting more. Sorry. Wanting more for their soul and their spirit, and just being able to walk in peace, because you have an opportunity to wake up every morning and take a deep breath and breathe and have a sound mind, and hopefully even be mobile. That's grateful. That's waking up with gratefulness. Walk in gratefulness. That'll bring you peace and joy and hope. Walk in gratefulness, saying that at least we have clean air pretty much to breathe. We have sunshine. I'm in California, your surroundings. We can go swimming. I mean, that we have life that we can enjoy. Don't worry about all the extra around you, because everybody that's looking at Will, they're looking at the actor and all the extra, the money and the this. But you can't take it with you. And what happens to all the hurt, though? I believe he wrote a book, and I haven't read it yet, you guys, in a documentary that I actually want to watch. He talks about a lot of his pain. God is the healer. You can go to counseling. I'm not against counseling, but God is a healer. He can heal your soul. He can fill your void where it's empty. So everybody, and it's all in my book, because I talked about there was a time that you appear to be as happy and that everything's great. You appear that way. Just like when he went to that party. You can't tell me he was really, I would hope, really enjoying that party that he went to after accosting a man like that, assaulting a man like that. I just say it was putting on face. I think a lot of us walk around putting on face, where there's something empty in our soul. And some people come to the point that they can no longer stand the emptiness. So even though they appear to have everything in the world around them and people love them, they're empty. Something's missing. Therefore, they want to sleep their days away, or they want to stay numb, or they just don't want to be here at all. I don't want to lose anybody else like that. Especially, I want healing. We should all want healing. Healing comes from the light. Healing comes from love. Will, you're going to be all right. It's so funny, because when all this first happened, because I wasn't thinking in the spirit, I was thinking in the world. I just felt like this. No, he has assaulted that man, and he needs to go through the same legal system like everybody else. The same legal system like everybody else. He needs fingerprints and a mugshot. Not jail, but the whole legal system, trial and all that kind of stuff. And, it took me a couple of days, but that thing with him talking about God just kept resonating in my heart. And I had to understand, let me think in the spirit right this minute. And first of all, if Chris Rock can give him grace, why can't I? But we are talking about triggers. But when you think about it in the spiritual sense and know that he's actually walking on the right side, and what really happened was somebody trying to destroy Evil is here to kill, steal, destroy, disrupt, distract, hurt, cause pain, anguish, chaos. Have people arguing that don't know each other. People arguing that normally love each other and they just on different sides of it. Okay, well, the side is good and evil. That's all I can say. I hope y'all receive this because it's as real as it gets. Ooh, we saw it on live TV. All it took was a few seconds for that drop to jump into that man's body because he walked like a robot. And then when he returned, he just, that's what it is, you guys. I'm just saying. Thank God for a friend like Denzel, friends like T.D. Jakes, friends like Tyler Perry, for our Will Smith. I think he's going to recover so well and beyond recover. He is going to be the vessel that he wants to be. And if we have something coming, that's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to see what comes out. What happens, how he reinvents himself, how he evolves from all of this, because he's going to be amazing, because he's going to be a shining light, because God says so, and he receives it, and he wants it. Let me make sure I'm just not missing anything that I really want to make sure I talked about. I think we covered it all. You know, darkness wants to shut you down. Darkness wants you to stay dark. But this world needs love, and we need light. I shine light. And I chose that for myself. And God chose me too. And I received him one day. I went knocking on his door. It's in my book. When the book comes out, I will definitely let you know. It's called It's Time. And I am Candace. And this is Candace Speaks Power. And it's just about keeping yourself centered and balanced and being the best you can be from the inside out, to the point that you spread good energy and you receive good energy. And that's what's going to happen with Will. And what's going to happen is, when those negative, the more you practice being positive on purpose, the more it becomes natural. So then when those things start coming your way, because they will, because we human, when those things that start coming your way, you'll know how to close that door. Like, not today, because I like the way I feel. And I don't want it to ever be disrupted. And it's a practice. But the more you practice, the better you get. And one day for Will, because he's going to continue to be under attack, the more he pushes, because he's a huge vessel for God, because he disrupted the whole world. But this time around, when it does come around, he will be disrupting the world for God with love. You have the world on their feet applauding him for his greatness, for the energy that he's putting out, and how he's lifting other people up and changing lives and having other people walk in his light. And now they're shining their own light. And now we're all just spreading it. And we're happy and still having a good time. I don't know why anybody thinks because you love God, you cannot have a good time. It just means you're not going to have a desire to do anything that's going to be harmful to your temple. But you're still good people. You still like to have a good time. But you're going to be different. You're just not going to have stuff of the world clouding you up. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Candace Speaks Power. Please hit the subscribe, the like, and the notifications button. And you can even share this video. Let's build our community so we can shine. We're here to lift up, never tear down. I'm not perfect. And I'm so glad that I did know how to look at the spirit and stay out this other mess. And it just feels better. It's a weight off even my shoulders. So I'm sure it's a weight off of many people's shoulders when you really see what it's really about. And that we know that Will wants something so powerful, and he's going to get it. He has the right people behind him. And I'm behind you, Will. My prayers matter. I'm going to tell you. And most of us who love God, who's praying for you, prayers of the righteous avail much. Okay, you guys. Until next time, keep an eye out for me, for our channel. If you need strengthening, you need lifting up, you got something going on in your life and you're not sure how to deal with it, I'll help you. Because it's not as hard as it seems. It's not. It's not. Have a great day, and I will see you again on Candace Speaks Power. Bye, y'all.